In the ordination of a bishop, there are liturgical texts or liturgical actions that is relatable to communion. Like, for example, we can see there that there are hierarchical communion when there are many bishops who attend in the ordination of a certain bishop that is in communion with the college of apostles. The introduction begins not with the individual powers or responsibilities of a bishop, but with his collegial relationships. That's according to Woods. It clearly refers to the theme of episcopal collegiality outlined and expressed in Lumen Gentium. The College of Bishops refers to the 12, or the proper phrase is Peter and the 11. They are the visible principle and foundation of unity in these particular churches. The bishops is the sign of harmony and unity in his particular diocese. The lawful celebration of the Eucharist is regulated by the bishop because any community of the altar under the sacred ministry of the bishop stand out as a symbol of the charity and unity of the mystical body of Christ. So the Eucharist is the perfect avenue for the communion and harmony of God, people, the church, the mystical body of Christ. The clergy and the other faithful are to be invited to his ordination. But in this time of pandemic, we can see in the ordination of the bishop in the auxiliary bishop in Zamboanga and other nearby dioceses in Mindanao, we can see that the people are limited in attending to this kind of celebration, but they can watch it live stream. So much with that. It is the sign and unity of the church with the bishop and the priest and the lay faithful in his diocese to be witnesses and to be one with the bishop. The principal ordaining bishop should join himself at least two other bishops in celebrating the ordination. For example, in that ordination in Zamboanga, there were like a handful of bishops who attended because of pandemic. But if we are in the ordinary times, we can surely see a lot of bishops in the ordination. And what is the meaning of the presence of two other consecrators from this ancient tradition? Can this be a seminal and implied understanding of the spirit of episcopal collegiality in the patristic church, one that matured over time until it's clear that in Vatican II it is thematized? To carry out his office in accord with the mind of Christ and of the Church, in communion with the order of bishops, under the authority of the successor of the holy apostle Peter. He is not set apart from the college of bishops. He is in union with his fellow bishops. But it is necessary that in the participation of the faithful, seats, and the principal ordaining bishop, the hierarchy headed by the bishop who shared the fullness of the priesthood of Christ. That is why it is very important that in a diocese in a particular area, the priest and the lay faithful are always in communion with the bishop. And the most interesting part here is that the principal ordaining bishop and the other ordaining bishop, if necessary, go to the seats prepared for the ordination. The people are gathered to witness the ordination. The church is the people of God. And in the presentation of the elect, you can see that the bishop will ask the candidate, have you a mandate from the apostolic see? So this time they will read the text. The appointment from the Holy See is a very good sign that the Holy Father has appointed the elect to become the bishop of the diocese. He appointed the elect, and this elected one is not set apart from the people. He is one with them. So, in the homily, join with the College of Bishops in the Catholic Church, they make the bond of charity. So, we have here the uh, conference, Bishops' Conference in the Philippines. They are bonded by charity. He made a promise to remain steadfast always in guarding the faith in union with his fellow bishops. It is very important with these words, in union with his fellow bishops. It is not apart from, he is not apart from the church. The office entrusted to him by the apostles, his diocese. What is the primary uh, office of the bishop? It is safeguarding the faith. And what does faith means in this time of pandemic? That is to remain in unity of that body together with the order of bishops under the authority of the successor of Saint Peter the Apostle. That's why it is very important to note how the bishops, how the priests do pastoral ministry in this time of pandemic, because the ministry of the church is not and should not be affected by all kinds, by all means, but it is always in accordance to what is the plan of God. So, in the laying of hands and the prayer of ordination, the words there are foreordain a nation of the just, born of Abraham. God has chosen him, a people whom he will serve in his diocese. When the bishop received the pallium brought from the tomb of Saint Peter, which we now hand in this particular time, being always in connection, connected, connected with the apostles. There are some bishops who try to do the other things, trying to go back to other kind of things, like a certain bishop is going back to that mass, facing the east. Of course, it's valid, but he is trying to impose in his diocese. Of course, it is a personal prerogative of that bishop, but you cannot demand it from people to face all all the time during the mass, facing their back. And we have already done, and we have already improved, and we have already moved from that kind of understanding. Okay, so much with that. Um, I should like to one of my takeaways with these things that I have read from the handouts is that the church has always been in communion, and the Holy Father is talking about synodality, not just collegiality, but we walk hand in hand together in union with the apostles, with the bishops.